However far you got on those steps, fine. Don't go into a concept, I want you to feel it. I want to open something inside you so that you have it for yourself. Subtle lenses of perception, subtle, it's very fine. The dualistic mind is all like, it's got a big sledgehammer, and the non-dual has a feather, you know. It's just much finer inside, you know, it's much finer. Much more subtle. Okay, so here's a high jump. Do it if you can, if you think if you think you're up for it. I want you to move really quickly between I am deciding to breathe in and breathe out, and then, okay, I'm being breathed by the room. I want to know if you can shift pretty quickly from the dual to the non-dual. Okay, so grab onto the lens of perception that has me, I'm doing the breathing. Yep, I'm inhaling, I'm exhaling. Now we have subject-object perception, and I'm taking action. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out, and I'm in charge of it. I can hold my breath. I can hyperventilate. You know, I'm doing it, all right? So, dualistic lens of perception. Everybody doing it who wants to do it? Yeah? Dualistic lens of perception is activated. All right, switch. Being breathed by the room. The greater unit is doing something with your lungs. It's creating an in and an out with air in your body. It's happening from some outside. You are being breathed. Put up your hand if you made the shift. Yes! That's 2/3. Okay. Anybody who can't make the shift want to say something or ask something? Yeah.
I'll just say I do fairly well with the breath breathing me, but the room doesn't work for me.
Okay. So when you say the breath breathing me, define the breath for me. I just want to know exactly what lens of perception you're working on.
I would say, I don't know, I get a sense of non-effort, non-control, and I go to a place where I experience, a more expanded awareness. Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's still, I mean, it isn't like, yeah, wow, but it's,
good.
It's rather familiar territory. Yeah.
Okay.
That direction of openness and versus, over managing.
Yeah. Okay. The breath is breathing you. It's more expansive. There's no control up there. I want to know where is the source, and you might have to kind of tune in to find it if it's not something you've noticed before. The source of the action of the breath that's breathing you. Find that.
Both when I did it and when you asked me that, the primary place I go, and it doesn't seem like it's that far, it's just right, that's all that's showing up for me, is that I'm happening anyways, and so it's this sense of I guess not control, sense of however whatever I'm experiencing, there's some essence of some part of being out in life, I guess. It's like how I'm coming forth or where I'm coming from as I'm living. It's this sense of it's just happening. It's happening anyways, And so it's rather non-effortful, and I could, I could talk about that and say I could make it more difficult, but really it's just happening.
Okay, I want you to trace back, where does the action that turns into what's happening, the movement, where does that come from? I want you to find it. Real subtle. If your mind is looking for it, you won't find it.
Yeah,
I know. So it's kind of tricky. I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Under pressure, but I did something, and it's still somewhat related, and it's mostly. It's mostly the sense of freedom, and it's happening anyway. My life, me, my experience, whatever, it's happening. So it's of that open, flowing kind of thing.
Origin of the flow. Origin of the flow.
Yeah, I perhaps am not grabbing that source right now.
Yeah, perfect. The fact that you know you're not grabbing it is like, yes, because you know what it's not. Perfect. That's a piece of homework for you. That would be really good. Because that can bring you to pure consciousness itself. For you, you'll find pure consciousness there. And you're like, that's an idea right now, but it's kind of going in and tasting it. Where does that arise from? Where does that start? And for you, there'll be a trapdoor there. I don't want to set up something in an expectation, but I want to tell you this is really important for you.
Yeah, find the source of where that breathing of light is.
Yeah, when you go to knowing that, it's happening. I'm not really doing it. There's a flow here. That stuff is happening, and you get that. You still have one toe in the jewel, a little. You kind of get it. You kind of get it, but I want your 2 feet to go into the non-jewel.
So find the source of how the air is breathing me.
Yeah, inside me, stuff is happening. Where does the happening, the action, the flow, where does that start? And for you, that'll help. That'll deepen you into the non-dual. Yes.
Does the image of cellular level ever help with that at all? Because millions of cells are dying every instant, and they're breathing out and they're dead, and millions of cells are being born every minute, and it's actually the cellular action that is breathing in and breathing out. And that kind of eliminates the control aspect of I'm doing it. That the organism is breathing in and out, and it's just a different image and perspective that you can kind of drop into too.
You can?
And then you could drop in past that.
Yes. Yes, it's a halfway house to where I was coming from.
The whole thing is arising and falling away.
It is. The cellular, you see, is still in the body.
Yeah.
So then the body is the subject.
Yeah.
You see, and it's like, let's go a bit deeper than that now.
But that kind of helps to get rid of the I part of it.
Yeah, it's a
That cell down
milder.
there in the toe that's doing it.
Sure, but it's just deferring it.
Yeah.
It's going from an intellectual thought to a thought about the physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's very much validating the body. That the body has more potency. It's like, I want to take you to where the body is being played by the unit.
Yeah.
What's the cell breathing? It's like asking, you don't have to ask anything, but what is the cell breathing? It's not about the body, it's just about the cell is actually doing it. It's still two body.
Yeah, it's still, it's I needed to just go into where you're not the subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who's breathing the cell? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. That would do it. Yeah. Can you see how it's
Yeah.
it's in the middle? Perfect.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just, that's it.
Oh, if it works for you, it's
A
perfect.
fun image
Yeah.
that gets out of that,
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. But take
Okay.
another step again.
Something else is just, this is just happening. And it's happening to everyone.
Okay. Why does that feel like a concept to me?
Because everything, maybe.
Does it feel like a concept to you? Hello, would you like to come in?
No, it doesn't feel like a concept because when I feel it, there's no concept.
Okay.
The concept
When you
comes.
feel it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, that's just one place that kind of takes me to that
Yeah.
feeling of, okay, this is just happening. This is just
Okay.
happening. This is just happening.
Okay.
It's coming and it's going away. It's coming
Okay.
and it's going away.
Okay.
It's arising and falling.
Yeah. I'm suspicious that there is an eye hiding behind the curtain there when you're saying
It
that.
does sometimes.
It does. Yeah, it's not clean enough for me.
Yeah.
When you talk from there, it's like, I see you. I see you. You know?
Oh,
Something's
it's just back there someplace behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's behind the curtain. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, this is happening. All right. All right. Yeah, it's being held together by concept. I want you to have the insight that, oh shoot, this is just happening. That's what I want. You know, it's like, oh my God, without a shadow of a doubt, this is happening. And I don't get that feeling when you say it. So it's like, it's nearly there, but you're hanging on to something. You're hanging on to something. It's like you're trusting the concept too much. Were you going to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, along the same lines.
Yeah.
So, respiration, circulation, thoughts, I can't deny I'm not controlling those things. Right? They happen. You go for a long run, your heart rate goes up, you breathe faster, it comes down on its own. You have thoughts.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get the fact that I'm not doing that, but I don't understand the bit about what does it feel like to find the source? So I'm looking for the source. There must be a source. There's a frequency, there's a feeling. It's not a concept or a thought. How do you not use thoughts when you're trying to find something?
Yeah. Looking for the source is a technique that's going to work for this gentleman. I don't think it's going to help you. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Everybody's path is a little bit different. It really is. It really is. So it's around finding, just like this gentleman, and I know, because I can see out of my periphery vision a few of you knowing, he's not quite talking from there. There's something in there that's still just a little bit too conceptual rather than completely it's seen to be so. It's just a little grain of something. And that's what I'm after. So everybody's a little bit different. So how far do you get? Is the room breathing you? Is something external breathing you? Because you gave the example of, yes, respiration happens by itself. It's like, yeah, but I want you to see a dualistic scenario where there's no subject.
Right.
I want the dual and the non-dual to be seamless.
So if you hyperventilate like you did, that seems deliberate, like there's a doer. But if you sit here calmly, close your eyes, and you're breathing, you can observe it as though it's being done.
So it looks like there's a doer doing it. And in the dualistic realm, yeah, I am choosing to hyperventilate. But there is another lens of perception that's active at the same time. And it's not a paradox. They don't clash at all. There are two different lenses of perception that can run at the same time. They just have different takes on what's happening. And one is I'm doing the hyperventilating, and the other one is consciousness absolutely was going to run that hyperventilation at that precise moment, whether or not I found a story to embellish it or not. I know that that's true. I know that that's true.
Because you feel it, because there's a frequency, there's a source, you know.
There's a wider bandwidth that knows that. That's wider. It's like a funnel. That's a wider one. The me who decides to hyperventilate, Jac decides to hyperventilate to show an example in something she's talking about, that's within a narrower bandwidth. The wider one, the love, the expanse, the openness, can allow for the dualistic, yeah, I chose to hyperventilate, but actually that's a subset within the truth that the hyperventilation was destined to happen at that moment. It could only happen at that moment, and the mind will embellish it with story to give meaning and a supposed I who is choosing to hyperventilate in that moment. Do you see? They don't clash. No paradox. So the me, myself, I lens of perception has just the subject. Everything goes on around the me, myself, I, the subject. The room is breathing you. There ain't no subject here. It's much wider. So your awareness has gone out to the room. Or as Richard was saying, it's like breathing is happening. It's like the room's too small. Okay, I'm like expand. Come into the wider lens of perception. Also, we can find it through love, through openness, through courage, attributes of it. You know that the wider lens of perception is the non-dual. The whole unified field is there. And the knowing of what every action is about is an entirely different story. And we use non-dual language, you know, like, yeah, it's just happening. And it's like, that's too easy, you know? It's too easy. It's like, really, what is that for you inside you? What is that? Can you find where, oh shoot, yeah, for me, I'm being breathed. The water is moving this form, and I can tune in to the story that I'm swimming, but the water is moving this form. Do you see? One is me, I'm the subject and the jewel, the other is much wider, it's about the body of water in the swimming pool. And it's moving this form. Oh God, okay, now we're heading towards unity consciousness. But all we can take right now is the pool of water. It's fine, work with what you have. You getting it? They don't clash.
Yeah, there's an interesting experience. So there's a presence, it's breath, only breath, just breath. And then there's the other exercise where, okay, imagine there's an I am breathing, and that's just like a mask, a costume, and it feels, it's so artificial.
Yes.
And it totally, not part of the reality at all.
Okay.
And
I want less of a difference.
yeah,
You see?
yeah,
They often call this flip-flopping.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I can't, it's not part of the reality at all, as you said. It's like, oh, but it is, because somewhere it's real.
yeah.
Somewhere it's real. It's real in the land that this is Wednesday afternoon in San Jose. That's real. So the laws that are valid around this being Wednesday afternoon, you are breathing. That's the code, the laws, the natural laws of that frequency, of that lens of perception.
Well, there's an animal and an organism that's
There's a woman who has a life.
with I and all that.
Yeah. So it's not. I want to bring it in. I want to bring it in. You know, it's a subset. It's a little circle within the wider circle of the non-dual.
Okay.
You see? It has to be included. That's embodiment. You see? Of where there is fluidity. It's like, I can speak from the dual, but that's, sure, that's valid, and absolutely I will obey the laws of the dual, of course, because that's being human. And I will respect people, and I'll play the game. And then, but I'm at home in the non-dual. Actually, I'm at home deeper, but for now I'm at home in the non-dual. You see?
Right.
It's like, but I can honor both. And this is why so much... I won't go there. It's not a good idea. Something's not supporting it.
You said something so simple when you introduced this exercise that it just disappeared immediately because it was so obvious. You first said, take a deep breath and feel the air coming in and then let it out. And then you said, well, you're not really breathing. Breathing is happening by itself. Air is moving, the lungs are expanding. And I realized, of course, And then I was immediately just in the breathing, I was gone. What was I thinking? That I was necessary for this feedback? It was a joke.
Yes.
And it was amazing.
Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. So the wider one can say, yeah. Do you see how one is wider and one is narrower?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, don't use one to dismiss the other.
Say that again, please.
Don't use one, the wider one, to dismiss the narrower one. There are two different languages. No, one is a county and one is a country.
Well,
You
the
know-
narrower one is the one that's more analyzing it and
Yes.
giving examples.
Yes.
So that I don't want to be confused with.
Yes, but at the same time, can the personality speak about this exercise, but at the same time you're at home in the wider space that knows this really isn't important, that my mind is just trying to figure something now, but yet you're talking from the other place. You're hanging out in the wider vista, but the personality can find clarity for itself. Can you do that right now?
Can you say that in different words?
I want you to speak, to see if you can speak about a dual story. I don't know where the voice came from, so generally. Okay, thank you. Can you speak about a dual story, but you're at home in the non-dual? So there's no denial of the dual. You're not denying the dual, but you're hanging out in the broader vista, and at the same time there's no clash, and you can use dualistic language, and you don't trade your identity from the non-dual into the subject.
But wouldn't that take the self-pity out of it?
Of course! Big price, huh? Is it worth it? Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't do that on demand. In other words, you're trying to do that. You're efforting to be in the non-dual state.
It's what's natural. It's actually natural. I'm bringing you back to your natural state. Or trying.
Have it lost condition.
That's just the mini pattern. The one that's like, oh, here goes another lump of coal into my rucksack. You see? And it's like, okay, can you stay out in the wider vista? Can you stay out there? And use a story like, okay, can I find where I'm not the subject? Can I find an experience of where I'm not the one doing the breathing?
Sometimes that happens, but it's by accident.
Yeah.
It just happens. But like I can see myself, because I'm trying to get an A, I can see myself trying to be in the non-dual.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully, maybe fool myself, maybe not. But
Oh yeah, if you're trying to be in the non-dual, it won't work.
yeah.
It's like, okay, this is a real subtle zone inside. I'm either going to be able to like relax into it or not at all.
Yeah.
It's a melting, dissolving, open, feels like love. It's got no agenda. So if you try to go into that place, of course, not at all. You know, contraction is going to come with you, and then it'll just be concepts.
Yeah. But I think groups like this make me go there. Try.
Make you try to go there.
Yeah, wanting to get it by controlling it. I mean, I wish I could.
So sink to the bottom of the ocean. She's doing a lot of trying here up at the top, that character.
Yeah.
She's up here and tossing about with her swimming tube, and she's up on top of the waves, and it's all turbulent, and she's trying her bestest to stay afloat. All right, sink. 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 Bottom of the ocean. And like a piece of seaweed, like let it swish you, like helpless, fluid.
Just the courage you were talking about. Every word you said was talking to me.
Oh, excellent, you're sitting beside him.
Yeah, it's better to say no self-conscious because everybody was like that.
Yeah.
Like we're just like,
Yeah. Fabulous, fabulous. David. Whatever technique brings you into that place of the wider expansion, and we must have thrown out about half a dozen examples at this point. Find a few of them that work for you. Keep using one until it's dry and it doesn't work anymore, and then find another one and keep using it until it's dry. But the more you can practice, drop. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't, but it's subtle. You're tuning, you're changing your frequency, you're shifting your lens of perception. We need that to be home. That's what waking up is. You live from there. That's what it is. And the other is included. The me, myself, I is included. It's allowed. But if the me, myself, I eclipses and shuts off the non-dual, okay, we've got some work to do. But the moment that you remember the non-dual, yay, happy days, expand, stay there, hang out there, let it be delicious. Remember your true nature. So use one of these ideas for you to point yourself to the frequency. It's like 98 FM, it's like remember that it's 98 to find the FM, it's like that. And then it's like you stop looking for the 98, because you're just listening to the radio then you're connecting with that. That's what it's like. So find the vehicle that brings you there. Now drop the vehicle, stay there.
I just want to say it's great to be able to have a sense of being able to do some exercises that can deliver in this beautiful topic we're talking about. And it's nice to be able to have this sense that it's something I can explore some more. And it's fairly doable in a way.
It's very doable.
And so I was just sharing it. It's nice that she's nice.
Yeah, good stuff. And if, find out where you're at yourself. If you find out that I can only fall into the non-dual when I'm in a group meeting like this. It's like, okay, so what is it about a meeting like this? Can you set that up for yourself? Can you kid your brain that environment is there? How can you set it up so that you have no dependency on something, but you can fool your brain, how can you fool your mind to create an environment that allows you to sink into your true nature? Because if you only give yourself permission to do it in a context like this, you're creating a dependency. That's you kidding yourself. Come on, where's your autonomy? It's your true nature. What do you have to do in order to kind of like, actually if I find that, like figure out how you set yourself up, how you limit yourself. When does it work for you? How does it work for you? And practice it. And so if it's only that, I have to sit down and be really quiet to just relax into that place of love. It's like, all right, okay, I've done that for a week. Okay, let's see if I can cook dinner and stay there. Let's see if I can. The last thing to try is communication with somebody else. That's the last thing. That's way downriver. Because you have to use me, myself, I language. You have to play the role of duality. That's really tough. To do the dual role and to stay in the non-dual. That's the highest jump. That's when embodiment is in place. Stay away from it. Do everything else first. Drive the car.
Are you doing that?
Oh yeah. I have other lenses of perception open as well.
We haven't got there.
No, we haven't gotten there yet. I'm waiting for the door to open. Yeah. So notice when somebody uses non-dual language in a dualistic place. Call them out on the inappropriateness of dismissing a natural law in the dual, dismissing it by taking a concept from the non-dual. Do you see? Like, and don't do it yourself is the most important thing. Don't do it yourself, because you will never have the capability of integrating both and of functioning and embodied as an awakened being. You won't have it. If you're mixing up the two now, you won't have it. The ability to be fully human and fully divine and not mix them up. Why?
Yeah. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Because when the dual is playing, there are certain laws that are at play.
Yes.
We use I language. We have a certain code. We respect each other. We help each other. There's a whole code
Oh, sure,
that happens in
that's
duality.
enculturalization. I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's not me. That's just a role.
It is. It's just a role.
That I've taken on through everything that happened to me.
Yes.
That's not me. That's
I
just
know.
a piece.
That's right. It's just you. It's just a piece.
It's just a
a
story.
manifestation. Okay. But that
I can
dualistic
cherish
role.
that. I can cherish that. And
Yeah.
if I cherish that, then it no longer holds me back.
Okay.
I don't have to long for it. I don't have to long
Yeah.
to change it.
Yeah.
I can just accept it, enjoy it, laugh about
Absolutely.
it.
So it's about
and move on.
including it. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So that happens at the same time. There's
Yes.
no separation unless I choose one.
Yes. So the point I'm making is, if you're abiding in the non-dual, and the dual is completely allowed and honoured for what it is, but you're abiding, you're staying in the non-dual, you're not going to use non-dual concepts to negate the dual.
True.
That's what I'm saying, because that's rampant. It's like, don't get caught in that. That's what I'm saying.
And would an example of that be someone being half an hour late and saying, well, we don't exist anymore?
There you go.
I can cut lines and now we're here. And there's,
That's right.
It really happens.
That's right. That's right.
You're conveniently mixing
Yeah.
them up, being lazy or rude or...
Yeah. I forgot my brother's birthday, and it's like, oh, well, he doesn't exist anyway, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, call him and apologize or send a belated card. Do you know? You see, it's like, that's the code of the individual. The non-dual isn't going to play a game, cancelling each other out just to feel better. The ego will do that. The ego will do that.
All examples of spiritual bypassing.
Bypassing, that's what I'm after, spiritual bypassing.
Yeah, this
That's right.
all ways to negate
Yes.
reality
Yes.
with
And there's
some
no
spiritual.
There we go. And there's no room for spiritual bypassing if you can fluidly move from one perception to another. Then both are available, so there's no, they don't clash. You see? Yes.
Here's one of spiritual bypassing. I'm waiting for this cosmic packet of complete information to come while not living my life. It'll get better when? It's now. This is as good as it gets.
Right now.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is all there is. This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. And whatever is pushing this moment away, that's the problem. Ignore it. Find the place inside you, not the theory, not the non-dual concept, then we're bypassing. Find where authentically you know that this is as good as it gets. And what you have to do is say, no, there's my mind, there's desire, there's resistance there. No, I'm not buying any of those. I want you to find it where you know that this is as good as it gets. It's entirely different to spiritually bypassing. You see, and grabbing the concept, oh yeah, this is as good as it gets. It's like, oh my God, you just added another concept on top of all the other concepts, and now we have a big fat mess. See? Be authentic. Be totally authentic.
What helps me is to be in that sort of expanded state you're describing is to tell myself in this too, and this too. Whatever is being blocked, blocking mechanism in this too, whatever,
Yeah.
all of it.
So you include the blocking mechanism.
It's all included, it's all here.
Yeah.
Thing. It's thought in
Yeah.
this too. Because if I push anything away, that's the problem.
Okay.
Resistance.
Okay. So here's where that can go a little bit funny, and I don't know yet if it's going a bit funny with you, Deb. Let's see. So you see something, a desire, a resistance. Something comes in. You're like, and this too. Now, are you spiritually bypassing by saying, and this too? Is there like a very subtle subconscious thought that shouldn't be happening, but I welcome it in?
Yeah.
Are you running that?
No, it's more about then I can let go of the focus on whatever I'm resisting and the thought of resistance and
Okay.
just allow.
Okay.
It's an allowing of everything to be what
Okay.
it is.
Okay. And is there a deep openness in the allowing, or is it just the conceptual allowing?
It feels like more and more a deep openness, but it's a process. I'm not always in that deep openness at all. But it helps me be in that openness. Am I missing something?
Yeah. It's a bit more black and white. When there's a process, I see a bit of a red flag. Because the process that I think you're talking about is kind of is something that the little I does, you know,
I'm
Yeah.
using the word process as I look over time, but in the moment,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
referring to in the moment. In the
All
moment,
right.
it's not the process.
Okay, good.
In the moment,
All
it's
right.
just the and this too.
Okay, all right, perfect. There we go. That's
Whatever
all
wants
right.
to be resisted in this too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like you have to be standing on the place of where you can't resist. You can't. So that the allowing is almost an understanding of where you're looking from. It's not a concept in order to pull you back there. You're already there, and allowing happens from there. That's what I'm after. Do you see the difference?